we are doing how to find the perfect settings for you tutorial. Alright, really, there's no such thing as perfect settings, to be honest. I'm not even going to get into the make sure you like in this video because I just did that in another video when you guys couldn't hear me. So anyway, I'm not even going to get into that. My mic wasn't working. I don't know. You guys could hear my controller, but you couldn't hear me, so. But anyway, so in order to find the right settings for you, Ninja basically preferred that you move your settings up and down, up and down, up and down to try to find if you're a low sense player or a high sense player. So I prefer doing that. Pause the video, try to get used to high sense or low sense, whatever you did first. And alright, now if you're a low sense player, what you want to do is you want to have but if you're a low sense player and you haven't found the perfect settings yet, then 30. So act like I'm a low sense player. I'm a decent sense player, but act like I'm a low sense player. Alright, so I would basically, I'm a low sense player, sorry. But anyway, I'm on 30, right? The low sense feels good, but 30 low sense is just not my low sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep playing with low sense. So I'm going to go back up, keep playing with the low sense. Okay, I just found, okay, let's act like I just rebuilt it in creative. I found my low sense that I like. Okay, so if you're a low sense player, keep doing that. For high sense, keep doing that. Same thing, but to find the perfect settings, copying off of pro players is perfectly fine. But for dead zone it's perfectly you. You're not copying off of pro players on their dead zone or anything. It's you. Say I have stick drift on my dead zone right now. I would change my dead zone to a higher dead zone. I don't actually have stick drift, but dead zone to a lower. But I'm not to a higher dead zone. You need to find the dead zone by yourself, your own controller. Say if you were on a new controller, you would probably want to lower yours as much as you can. But that's only if you have a new controller. But yeah, don't copy off of pro players because you could get stick drift off of copying pro players controller controller dead zone, because if you're doing that, you will probably have stick drift, honestly. I'm serious. I used to do it all the time. I'm telling you this, all of this from experience. But copying off of pro players is perfectly fine, but not dead zone. Just try to find the right dead zone that you and your controller is comfortable with. Alright, now anyway, look and play. So look, for linear or exponential, most pro players use linear. But if you want to be like a little bit slower, more like in control, I prefer using exponential. But if you want to be kind of like just a little bit flashy, just a little bit, put it on linear. And linear is really good for tracking, but exponential is probably better for tracking, honestly. But I'm not quite sure if I'm getting these two mixed up. But linear is very good for aiming, exponential, decent. Exponential, if you want to be like a little bit stiff and look like you don't know, like you don't have control a little bit, I prefer using exponential. But if you want to look like you have fully control, I prefer using linear. And this is obviously have that all the way up to 100. Look dampening time. Honestly, it doesn't really matter to me. ADS horizontal. Say I'm comfortable with 9.9, which I am. I'm gonna have to test these in a aiming situation. Like, I'm gonna have to try to track an opponent or something. See if I'm comfortable. If I want a little bit higher that I'm comfortable with, that's totally fine. It's not gonna do anything. It's gonna do something to your aim, definitely, if you have a good one that you're comfortable with. But, like, if you put it higher or something, it's not gonna, like... Here, let me figure out how to say this. It's not gonna, like... If you put it higher, you're not gonna have totally terrible aim. And, wait. Oh. But anyway, look. For boost, you can put that at, I prefer 2% at least. If you want to turn on boost, I prefer 2%. 2%. The boost would really come in for you, but I don't really use it. And look horizontal. Same thing. And for the look vertical speed, I prefer using the same thing as look horizontal, whatever you put it on. And make sure you have build mode sensitivity as whatever you're really comfortable with. You can turn it all the way up to 3.0. And but this, you might want to know what to put this on for me. Like for me, put this, alright, if you have this on 4, turn off advanced options, and put these on 1. I promise you, your game is gonna feel so much smoother. I've been rocking this for so long. Okay. But now, look at, if you don't know any of these things I'm talking about, it's not appearing for you. Turn on advanced options, okay? Turn on advanced options. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. Edit whole time, it doesn't really matter if you're not using switch mode /edit, and I talked about switch mode /edit in my editing tutorial video. Yeah, but you just want to mess around with your settings, try to find the perfect settings, and once you find the perfect settings, try not to change, try to rock it for a few months, few years, maybe even a few years, yeah. And you'll know exactly where you need to move your crosshair placement, and yeah, you'll just be so comfortable with the sense, it'll just become like crazy. You'll be so good. Trust me guys, just trust me. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We will get in the controller keybinds later. We'll get into some vines later. But here's my vines if you want to copy. But vines is a total different thing. Literally. Total different thing. You do need to mess around with them to see. Sometimes it's depending. You need to mess around with them if you want to, like, you know. You know what? I'm just gonna put vines in the setting too. Yeah. So look, but for vines, and if you want to use cloth, I prefer using double claw, but you can use whatever you want. But here's my settings if you want to copy them. But I prefer not copying anybody's settings. I prefer going with your settings that you're comfortable with, not anybody else. Yeah. And for alright, what am I gonna say? I prefer some pro players and like it's Jerry and stuff says do not mess around with your settings. That's true, but the only times you need to mess around with your settings is when you need new settings. So say you're switching from non-claw or no paddles to paddles, or you're switching from no claw, no paddles to claw or something. So, I play claw. I don't really know too much about paddles. So you can probably get paddles in a different order. But once you find the perfect settings for claw that you like, don't let anybody tell you that those settings are weird. Those settings are, you should copy my settings. No, do not do that. Especially if you're a keyboard player. It's just all it is it's just getting your keybinds that you're comfortable with. Do not copy anybody else. But anyway, if you're not switching to claw or paddles or something, I prefer not switching your keybinds. Just don't mess with your keybinds. And just try to get consistent with your keybinds. Same thing with settings, kind of. Get consistent with your keybinds. Keep them for a long time. And yeah. Alright, now, keyboard players. Controller players, you're done for now. You don't have to. Okay. Don't you play on controller, Jabri Watson? Don't you play on controller? Yes, I do play on controller, but guess what? I also have a mouse and keyboard hooked up to it. I used to, but I don't have it anymore. But still, I can still teach you. So, jump, spacebar, obviously. It's really the same thing for controllers, keybinds. Just make sure you're comfortable with your keybinds at all times. Yeah, just make sure you're comfortable with your keybinds. Yeah. Just make sure you don't have to stretch your fingers out too much with your keybinds. Make sure all your keybinds is close to you and stuff. And yeah, for example, you can use F to edit, E to edit. You can use C to edit, X to edit, Z to edit. You can use Q to edit. You can use F to place a floor. You can use really anything. But now for the synths. For the synths, I always used to have problems with this. I always used to have problems with the synths. Okay, make sure you have a good mouse for your synths. Because once I used to be thinking it was my synth the whole time, but it was my mouse or my what's the name? My mouse pad. Yeah. I think that's what it's called. I used to be messing around with my settings all the time because I used to think they were bad. But guess what? It was my mouse all the time. But look, you still want to get your perfect settings. But if your mouse is going slow every once in a while, if your sense is going slow and fast every once in a while, then it's because of your mouse. Get a different mouse. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. I'm telling you guys from experience. Okay, from experience. Now, colorblind mode. This is what I do. Yeah, but it doesn't really matter what you do. Look, yeah, it doesn't really matter. Just go with stuff that you think you can like see. Make sure you don't think some guns is red or something. Yeah, just make sure you understand your, you know, graphics, your brightness, your colorblind. You feel me? Just make sure you understand that. And, this is just how you want your game to look. If you're like colorblind, you can change to this, anything. But I usually rock with this. Even though I'm normal, I got turn mine off. I still just rock with this. I think it looks pretty cool versus that. Yeah, I just think this looks pretty cool versus that. Get what I'm saying? It's like darker. But anyway, it doesn't really matter for this. For this, same thing, doesn't really matter. If you want to edit fast, confirm edit on release on turbo building. You could just copy off of me on these if you want. These are legitimately the only thing you can copy off of me on. One of the second only things you can copy off of me on. Pause the video if I'm going too fast, scrolling down too fast. Everything you can copy off of me from. But don't copy off of me on anything else. You can copy off of me on this, but not anything else, okay? Alright, that will be it for the video. I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you guys drop a sub. Turn on post notifications so you can know every time I upload. I upload every day just to keep you alarmed and stuff. And, yeah. Have a great day, everybody.